Sunday evening, July 28th, 2019. $9,200 range of the lows on Bitcoin are rejected twice with volume, and it looks like our weekly RSI reversal is starting to unfold. Let's jump in and see what our indicators are telling us with another unexpected episode of the 24 Hours of Bitcoin. You can pause the video to read through the disclaimer, and we're going to jump right into the charts. We're looking at the 5-minute view of Bitcoin, and this evening we had a dump down. It was all looking, here we go, this is the sailing down, and immediately prices turned around. And they've come up with some pretty strong volume at this time, so I wanted to do a video and go through all of the indicators just to record what's going on. Now, I'm going to start off with this chart and then run through the indicators and wrap it up here for a quick one here today, but I want to get some perspective on this chart. It's looking good as it's moving around here. Kind of scary for a lot of traders getting whipsawed here. What I want to do is go to the 1 hour view, and we can see that on the 18th, prices did something similar where they started to break, and I thought it was on its way down, and immediately it broke way up, and it kept going way up. It really reset the prices on a good strong surge of volume. But as you can see, we got a green trend line here that if we trace this all the way back, this trend line has already been broken. And if I grab just any old trend line that's been broken, it often comes back up and gets retested and then fails from there. So we're still not in the clear on this, which is why I want to get in and do our indicator set so that we can get some idea of how strong this is. And no matter what our indicators say, we're looking at a 1, 2, 3 bottom formation right here. And this is now the number 1 point. This is the number 2 point. This is the number 3 point in a larger 1, 2, 3 formation here. So should prices start breaking above and breaking above and breaking above and nesting and holding levels above that, it'll start to confirm our bullish turnaround just by the chart technical analysis. So the indicators are just to confirm what these 1, 2, 3 bottoms are saying, or is this a big head and shoulders top that we are just going to fall off the right shoulder here right away? Our indicator set should give us some ahead of time view of that. So let's jump in now and go into the relative strength index. So as we're starting off with this, we're watching for the RSI to make any kind of change. I was figuring that we're going to be going smooth down a while yet. In fact, I was anticipating that this trend line would be where the RSI would come down and touch before it made any tick like this. But now that it has, I want to pay attention to it as it unfolds, because we don't need to have any more of a red candle for our RSI to be switching around and coming back up. If we pull this back, we've already done 1, 2, 3, 4, this is 5 weeks. This was 1, 2, 3, 4 weeks, and the RSI came down and came back up on this massive parabolic uptrend. So now the RSI is coming back and holding at that level. We've already had our 1, 2, 3, 4 weeks. And it's at phenomenal support and resistance levels. So should it turn around from here and everything start to support it, it's certainly plausible now with these indicators starting to back it up. We're looking for this RSI to give us more divergence here from these two bottoms. Let me draw it in. Got a flat bottom and kind of a flat bottom RSI there too. So it's not giving me the divergence I'm wanting. I want to see more of a bullish divergence, so that if I'm looking for a little bit higher lows here, I want to see even stronger in the RSI if it's giving me the divergence. So let's zoom in closer. And this is the kind of thing we saw earlier, is a little rise in the RSI compared to the price. What are we on the 4 hour time frame? Zoom into the 1 hour time frame. This is where it was getting more clear. Even yesterday, we were pointing out, or earlier today maybe, we were pointing out this divergence in the RSI and in a few of the different indicators, but they certainly didn't give us any warning of this kind of whipsaw going on there. It's a great, I think that these markets are manipulated. I think that it's algorithms doing it that can do far more mathematical processing than any human can. They can look at all of the exchanges all at the same time, and they can see the order books everywhere, and they get a sense. They know human emotion, fear, and greed, where it is, and they get a sense of where they can be doing this in the markets. And then people say, well, it wasn't us, it was our algorithms. We don't know what it was doing. It's a machine language learning. It's not us actually doing the manipulation anymore. So nobody can be held accountable for the manipulation that's set up and programmed intentionally. But that's my conspiracy theory. So looking for the RSI divergence here while I got off track. Let's go on to the on balance volume. Now let's see what this volume is doing on the right hand side, because on the weekly it's not showing me a big thing. Not on the daily yet. We're still showing on balance negative volume. And as we zoom in, it's picking up a little bit, but it's still not showing on balance positive volume on the 12-hour time frame yet. Not even on the 4-hour time frame yet. Wait, there it is. On the 1-hour time frame, it has switched from negative to a good swath of positive buying here. And I knew it was coming because I was looking at the short-term things earlier. And I was surprised that it wasn't showing up on the 4-hour time frame yet, because it does look like a pretty good swath of buying here that has come in. Really matched the size of this buying here. Let's go back to the 4-hour time frame, and this other buy nowhere near. This is why I was surprised in the 4-hour time frame that I wasn't seeing the buying yet, because when this hit, that was a massive amount of buying, and we are not seeing it yet. That's an important comparison. That's why I was surprised. We're seeing it here, and maybe it'll come in. If this keeps going, it'll have to, but just not yet. We'll see how that unfolds now. I love to see that we can record it and see now tomorrow, how does that unfold? How does that change? How does that match up with our charts? Can we find this same pattern in a different market that we can benefit from? Okay, but now we're onto the weekly MACD indicator. It's crossed over and going down. And last episode, maybe this morning, 2 days ago, I don't know, they all blend together. We were talking about how the MACD indicator can come down and not cross. Come down and not cross. Come down all the way up the uptrend. This was happening so that we could see the histogram came all the way down, but it didn't go negative. All the way down, but it didn't go negative. And if we're seeing something like that here, I want to pay attention to it as we're coming up to it, that this may not cross over. It may get close, and that's, if we're taking off from here, this will not cross over. It'll keep, we'll see those histograms folding out. And now on the daily view, this was a crossover we've been watching for a while now, for the similarity here that we may be continuing on down, down, down in the Bitcoin prices. And I was seeing this as a similar setup as we were seeing here, that it was continuing past the 0 line and going down. Let me clear that off, drag this over, no, clear this off, drag this over. And now the watch is for the histogram to be going smaller. If this is shortening up and going more positive, this is going to be the important one on the daily time frame. Let's zoom in now to, because that looks like it is easing back and going to cross positive. Did this one do that? It did cross positive. We did get some real crazy whipsaw going on there, where it took off and made another attempt before the big drops came in. So we're still not out of the clear. We're not in the clear. Really watching what's going on with this, and I wanted to do all that so that I could watch this a year from now, 6 months from now, and learn from this and have case studies made for it that support the courses that we have. Anyway, crossover to the positive, crossover to the positive. Let me zoom this in. Crossover to the positive here, and a crossover to the positive. And each one of them are higher lows. Each time that's a crossover. So this is gaining momentum positive. And we're looking at the 4-hour time frame. And it does look like it's gaining momentum positive over this whole shoulder here. So this, unfolding and going positive, more positive histograms in the next couple episodes is going to confirm this is building up and going off. We are already seeing it building up here. Into the 1 hour time frame. Yesterday we were noticing this crossover and how that crossover was early here. Early here we had the crossover. Early here we had the crossover. And then we had a bit of a run up, a bit of a run up, and now a bit of a run up, and this is expanding out, it's widening up. Very interesting to catch with that. Where are we now? The Ichimoku Cloud on the on the weekly time frame. Still looking good. It never went negative. The daily did cross over negative and it's pulled down. We do have a cross to the negative here still, not looking positive yet on the daily time frame. The 12-hour time frame still looking negative. It hasn't crossed over the conversion line over the baseline. We haven't got a twist to the positive here on the 12-hour time frame. 4-hour time frame, we still don't have a twist to the positive. This is still looking negative. It looks like it's, a sell signal in a downtrend according to the Ichimoku. So while I'm looking for the bull all the way along here, there isn't complete agreement on it. Let's go into the 1 hour time frame. Here we still don't see a good strong cross of the conversion line over the baseline. We don't have a twist to the positive. What are we on? The 1 hour time frame. We don't have a twist to the positive. And the 15-minute time frame, it's really whipsawed. You can see it here, but it did twist to the positive. It has gone up through the cloud. We do have the crossover of the conversion line over the baseline, but that's only in the 15-minute time frame. That's the only Ichimoku Cloud that is confirming that positive. So that'll have to unfold over the next couple days or the next while that we see this starting to switch out on the 1 hour time frame and then growing into the 4 hour time frame as well. We'll have to see that pan out. Now, just to finish it off, I wanted to look at Bitcoin dominance. We have it over here. I was looking at the Bitcoin dominance with the RSI, and we're having higher lows in the RSI while we're having stable dominance chart here. 3 lows. And so I'm watching, is this going to break lower, or is this a consolidation for the next run up in dominance? Certainly important that it bounced off this level, and we're hitting on this level right now. So I wanted to look at the relative strength index because that gives us any clues as to what it might be doing next. How about the MACD indicator here for the Bitcoin dominance? Crossed over positive. If it keeps going positive, Bitcoin dominance is probably going to pick up and go up from here. And how about the Ichimoku Cloud on the Bitcoin dominance? It is actually a sell signal. It looks like a sell signal in a downtrend as we're going along. So the Ichimoku Cloud is standing out as different than the other ones. And I'm glad I'm recording all of this so that I can come back and review it. Especially this dominant stuff, because that lets you know which side of the boat the water is in. It's over on the Bitcoin, or it's over on the altcoins. And sloshing back and forth properly is a good way to build wealth if we can get it right. That'll wrap it up for now. Great to see you guys tuning in on this unexpected thing. You agree with my conspiracy theory? You know what? This conspiracy theory isn't new. If you read the book Reminiscences of a Stock Operator, they clearly explain how to do it, how to manipulate the markets, how to set it up. And it was the most crude way of setting it up in the early days of the stock market before they got wise and made it illegal. And now the computer programs have gotten so smart that people aren't to blame anymore. Anyway, it'll continue. Let's go on into Bitcoin. And that's one of the reasons, actually. It's one of the reasons that I advocate trading by the 4-hour and the 12-hour time frame bars and not the shorter time frame. And so our entry signal is the 1, 2, 3 bottom formation on the 12-hour bars. When you see the exponential moving average crossover on the 12-hour time frame, it's time to think about action. It crossed over and it crossed back. So it didn't give us the breakout that we wanted here. It told us to get out. and our risk control rules would have stopped us from being a bag holder there. Then we're still watching for that same thing again. There's our crossover. We get into the trade, and then the trick is to stay in the trade until that crossover happens again. And so it keeps you in through all of this FUD, all of this worry, all of this craziness until it crosses over and it's time to get out. And now we're not jumping back in and out on this craziness. We're waiting for more of a trend. Instead, there's a lot of the altcoins that are setting up like this. It's insane actually what's setting up in the altcoins right now. And they're 1, 2, 3 bottom formations. Really amazing stuff. So I'm glad you brought that up about the manipulation, because it talks about how to avoid the manipulation, how to stay outside of the range of the whales so that you are not whale food, is to step away from that 15-minute chart. You only use it just as you are coming up to a trading signal on a crossover on the 12-hour time frame. And then you start zooming in on, now it's getting so close. Now I'm zooming in on the close time frames to get my entry and to build my position properly so that I'm not putting on my whole trade at the beginning. And anyway, I got to wrap it up here. I could go on forever, but join us in our Discord chat if you want to talk about this stuff on and on. Thanks again for tuning in, and we'll see you on the next episode of the 24 Hours of Bitcoin.